Hi. I want to talk about this Trojan horse we have within. Now, we can look at this in many different ways. It can be an aspect of us that we trained over time. It's just like working out. We're using certain muscles, we're doing certain activity, we're repeating it over and over again until it becomes a habit, until it becomes a part of us. We can also look at this as an entity in our space, as a thought form that keeps on reappearing again and again. But what I'm talking about is there is this personality, an aspect, an alter, a characteristic that you have that is not serving you. Whether we look at it in a spiritual way or psychological way or emotional intelligence ways, we can look at it in so many different aspects, and eventually it just leads us to one thing. There's a part of you that's limiting you, and it would be really good to get rid of. And what I'm talking about is we have to look within, kind of analyze ourselves, be aware of some of the actions, some of the things we are doing or not doing that's stopping our life. That's making it a bit worse. That's not giving us results that we would like. That's getting in the way of getting us something that we would like. Look at this part, and this is that Trojan horse. It's within, it's a part of you. You're using it every day or not. But that part reappears once in a while and kind of destroys things for you. Now we can look at this at like, okay, maybe it's feeling lazy. Oh, I don't want to get up. I still want to lay in bed and just rest. I want to be lazy and not go to work, not do the work I'm supposed to. I want to be lazy and just ignore people and stuff like that. Not go to the gym, not write the thing. Variations. There are parts of having a hard time communicating, having the social anxiety, having the fear of being in front of the people and talking to them, having the fear of showing up as is. Oh my god, someone will see me. I don't look good enough. Self worth issues and stuff like that. We can look at the variations and an aspect, characteristic, or identity that we might not like about ourselves that we know we have that is getting in the way of having a happy life. You have to address it. Not that you must, but if you know that it's getting in the way of your life, that you're not manifesting the results you would like, whether you have a specific goal or you would just like to achieve more in life or just feel better throughout the day, getting rid of that part would be good. And there are many ways to do it, and you probably have read tons of books and watched tons of videos and done things, but the way I would do it, and I reflect on myself. I do sessions with people, and it's so easy to call out to see where people have this savior syndrome, or it's not always that, but we assume the identity of, oh, look, I'm a healer, I'm a helper, I'm a catalyst, I'm this and that, and we look in all those spiritual ways, and sometimes we're addressing ourselves as the indigo children, crystal children, rainbow children, amazing, woo! And then we have Pleiadians, Arcturians, and Andromedans, and we're feeling so special, amazing, and now what? Well, by what they write about, I'm supposed to, and we go on this grand mission, and then we're trying to, whether it's pleasing others or finding a grand goal or doing something amazing, it's great if you're doing that. But at the same time, we end up going into this dead end or a wall or an issue where you see a part of you that's getting or going against everything you've been learning and doing, and it's like really stopping you. And that's where, if you are not happy in life, it would be good to address it. I know, like, I listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, and a lot of people listen to him too, but there's like this big misunderstanding where people are saying Gary Vee is so freaking intense, and he tells everyone to just hustle and hustle and hustle and have no rest and anything else. But when you listen to Gary Vaynerchuk says, if you are not happy in life, but you allow yourself to play video games, to watch movies, to do stuff, and not take action that would help you, it would be good to get off your ass and do something that would benefit you. But if you're successful in life, if you are making enough money to survive, if you have a roof over your head, if you have people that love you, if you are healthy and you're happy, This is the best life possible. And I like that concept. And that's just where I'm coming from. Like, if you notice, like, you're doing great in life, amazing. Just go with that. Like, go with the flow, see what happens, go for whatever you want to go. But if you're noticing that you're kind of stuck, it would be good to self reflect and look at some of the characteristics, identities, parts of you that are getting in the way. Oh, well, I want to create, I want to sell, I want to make money, but what is that but? But if I try to sell people, I'll feel like, I'm not good enough or I'm not supposed to. I should find a different job. It's like same as content creator. Oh, Aquila, you should like drop being spiritual person and like charging money for it, yada yada yada, because spiritual people don't charge money. Oh, so I can't make survival doing what I love to do, huh? Okay, what about musicians? What about like people who paint? Like, is that not a thing? So we have these controversies, and we have to look at the limiting beliefs, the identities, the characteristics that we have certain logic about. We assume that this is helping our survival, but it's actually getting in the way. And then to change it, there are many techniques. But again, we have to remember that this is like a muscle, it's like a habit. We believed and saw life happen. We made a story about that aspect of us. Every time we go into the public, people are staring at us. They're thinking stuff about us. They're laughing. They're talking about us. And all of a sudden, people develop this fear and having public anxiety, fear of going out, or oh well, I might look bad because everyone's staring at me. What if you're a freaking gorgeous person? You're gorgeous. You're wise. You're radiating, and people love looking at you. But you assume that something's wrong with you. And then you start feeling, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm ugly. Something's wrong with me. And then it happens again and again and again. People look at you and you start thinking bad. And now you develop this habit of every time you see someone looking at you, you start feeling bad. But you looked around, you had a thought, you had a logical explanation of what was going on, and your assumption became your reality. You didn't know the truth that people are actually admiring you, that people like to talk to you, that someone is interested in you. For example, and there are a lot of cases, but I would like to encourage you to look within and, if you like, in the comment section, write down one identity you have, this Trojan horse, that is not serving you, that you might not go for the biggest one, but take one small aspect that is getting in the way. Write it down, and every day, just like a muscle, just like that habit, you have to counter that personality. You have to counter that beingness that you get into and start acting differently. Oh, you're afraid to talk on the phone. Someone calls you and you're like, I don't want to pick up. Uh, what happens? There's a trigger. Oh, I don't know that person. Or if they call me, I'll have to talk, I'll have to answer. I don't know what to say. I don't want to listen to them. I don't have time. Tons of explanations, but we're just like, okay, we're just gonna look at that and answer the phone. Find an aspect, address it, and just find counter moves. Whether you answer that phone, whether you start writing things down, whether you force yourself to do something even though you don't want to, you're gonna have to. Because we're never really gonna feel like it, but if you want to get better, you can change. And all you have to do is change your story and change your action. If you think like, oh, well, it's really hard for me to get up or I'm lazy, it's good to take care of yourself. It's good to put yourself first. It is good to rest consciously if you feel like resting. It is good to pamper yourself if you feel like it. But if you're seeing that your life is kind of going down the hill and you don't want to do stuff because you are depressed, because you had too many stops, because you had too many interferences, you're not gonna feel better. You're not gonna experience the some, I don't know, inspiration, motivation, or something that's gonna push you forward. What you're gonna do is pick yourself up, get off your ass, and do stuff. And when you start taking action in whatever small or big steps you take, and you start seeing results, smallest ones, like, hey, look at me, I got out of bed. Hey, look at me, I made myself a cup of coffee, or I made my bed, or I wrote a thing down or I answered an email that I didn't want it to, but I did it. You start feeling better. And it's those little steps and actions where we start changing our story about one aspect we don't like. If you want to write down an identity, an aspect that you see or identify as a Trojan horse, and just take a week and try to change that story. Because you don't need super tools or super techniques. It's all within you. You have the knowledge of how to do it. You know how to counter it. You might just not be, feeling good about it now. But if you're not lazy, if you take action, at least little by little, small little steps, you will notice the change. So, hey, if you see a Trojan horse within, pick one aspect that's getting in the way and try to change it. Little step, little baby steps, one little thing at a time, and you will notice it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.